Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
We are gathered here today to sip some tea, honey. So make sure you guys have your teacups ready because this tea is what? Piping hot. Hey, you guys. I hope you guys are doing good this evening. So I wanted to come on here and do a voiceover. I wanted to do an update on the whole Junior situation, the Justice for Junior story. As you guys all know, I did a video earlier and I want to do a part 2 because after I recorded that video, a lot of new information literally came out late last night and today. So I wanted to keep you guys abreast on everything. So what's going on now is that basically initially when the information came out and the video came out, it showed that the bodega owner was shooing Junior away. He didn't do enough. And the police were even the ones saying that they didn't see, they didn't have any 911 calls. So now, as of today, the bodega owner, he did an hour-long interview. There was a live stream that took place today. I can post a link down below if you guys want to watch the whole hour. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys these news clips. And basically, he's trying to clear his name. He's saying that he did help. He tried to hide Junior. But, with Junior just being really distraught, not really knowing what was going on, he popped out of his hiding place, and that's how the gang members were able to see him. And he's saying there was only so much he could do. He also stated that he made not one but 2 phone calls to the police. As of now, those 911 calls have not been released. They're trying to search for them in the database. So hopefully once those calls, are found, that will validate his story even more. So people are still really upset about this situation, but I want to be fair to everybody in this case. I think that's just a part of having, journalistic integrity. Even though I'm not a journalist, I believe as more information comes out, to share that, okay? I don't want to just leave it with what was said in the first video. Now he's come out, he's telling his side of the story, and I want to share that with you guys. Go ahead and check out these 2 videos. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
We just spent about an hour with Modesto Cruz. It was a very long meeting. He answered all of our questions. He's the owner of the bodega that Junior was pulled out of moments before that very vicious attack. And he shared some new video with us, video that we've never seen before. And he says it shows that they actually tried to help save Junior's life. So go ahead, take a look at the video that we just obtained. That shop owner says Junior is jumping over the counter and that he actually tried to hide Junior from the gang, but the gang spotted the boy anyway. The owner, Modesto Cruz, also went on to share even more video with us of them trying to fight off those gang members after they grabbed the 15-year-old and tried to drag them out of the store. Cruz also told us he called 911 as soon as he knew that Junior was in trouble and spent 4 minutes on the phone with 911. He said the operator kept asking him questions over and over again, and he kept responding with the address and telling them to send the police right away. The store owner also says he called 911 one more time right after Junior was attacked, telling them they needed an ambulance immediately. He also tried to clarify something in one of the videos that we've seen all week. There's a moment where you see a man in the store pointing at the door after Junior was attacked. The owner tried to clear it up, saying that they weren't kicking him out. They were telling him that it was taking too long for the ambulance to come. They were telling him that the hospital is just a block away and that he should run. During this 1-hour meeting, Mr. Cruz was quite emotional.
I already passed the key to close the store. When somebody go and jump all over the counter, my first reaction was, stop it. When he get down again and I recognize him, he come back again. So I tried to hold him. I don't know what's going on. And when he told me he's looking for me, they looking for me or they're running for me. So I helped him bring it down. But he was so scared. I remember his face. He was so scared. And I tried to hold it down and he's jump up. The other people that coming for him, they saw him, he was already there.
This bodega owner was quite emotional during our 1-hour meeting. He shed a lot of tears, and I asked him straight up, a lot of people in the community are calling for your store to be closed. So will you close or will you open back up? He says he hasn't made a final decision, but he's going to respect the wishes of the community. Reporting live from Upper Manhattan, Ayana Harry,
First time tonight from the owner of the bodega in the Bronx, where Lisandro Jr. Guzman Feliz was attacked and killed. The owner has been criticized for not doing something to help Jr., and many are now calling for his shop to close. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan is live in Inwood, where he spoke to that owner. Jim.
Liz, Lisandro went into that store to hide from the gang that was chasing him, the gang members that would later that same day kill him. The owner tells us the child was terrified, and soon the owner was afraid as well. And we spoke to him just moments ago. It was an emotional and tearful conversation with the owner of that store, him telling the story of Lisandro coming into the store, terrified that the gang would catch him. The 15-year-old jumps over the counter. At first, you can't tell if the owner is stopping him or helping him jump over the counter, but soon he does get over the counter, and the owner does hide him from the gang members when they come into the store. That would not be enough. It wouldn't stop the gang, who would later drag Lisandro away and murder him. 19-year-old Kevin Alvarez is the first of the 8 men charged with the murder of 15-year-old Lisandro Guzman Feliz to be indicted. Prosecutors say he's a cold-blooded killer. His lawyer urges caution.
What I can tell you about Kevin Alvarez is that up until this date, he had no criminal history, and this is based on a fingerprint analysis. He had no history of violence.
Alvarez is one of 8 people charged so far with the savage gangland murder of Guzman Feliz. He died on a Bronx street near his home after being stabbed and slashed by several different people 8 days ago. Before he was hunted down by the gang members, he tried to hide in a store.
No los culpo de que ahora se.
In an emotional, tear-filled news conference late this afternoon, that owner talked about being criticized for not doing more to help.
I remember his face. He was so scared, and I tried to hold down, and he jumped up. The other people that coming for him, they saw him, he was already there.
It's hard to look at.
The police commissioner today said the store owner did nothing criminal. Still,
people have to be reflective on what their actions were, and maybe they could have done a better job. People are responsible for their own actions. It's a 15-year-old kid.
The owner of the store says he did call 911 immediately after the child was taken out of the store. He says he doesn't know what more he could have done, that his life was in danger as well. He could, of course, have just locked the door to his store.
Okay, so you guys just saw what Modesto Cruz had to say, and he is very heartbroken about the situation. I'm sure it's very hard for him, not only because a lot of people in the Bronx are pissed at him, people don't want him to open his shop back, but he was really one of the last people who, technically could have helped Junior, who saw the look of sheer terror in Junior's eyes. I felt the sheer terror just watching the video. So I couldn't imagine living in that moment, trying to, just figure out what the hell is going on. Because I can understand he got caught off guard, but I still feel like there was a bit more that could have been done, possibly lock the doors. Let's not forget Kevin Alvarez. He was one of the first ones to turn himself in. I read his interview earlier, and he's saying that the bodega owner told him to, get out, leave him alone. And at that point, when Kevin turned around, people were saying at that point that the bodega owner could have locked the doors. The whole situation is crazy. But again, this is a really notorious gang, like I showed you guys in part 1. So a lot of people in the neighborhood, they're very scared. And if that's your job, it's not like he's working in a corporate office. He doesn't know if these people may come back and hurt him. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but I definitely want to share with you guys what he had to say, and then you guys are free to come up with your own conclusion. Another thing I wanted to address, because a few of my subscribers brought this to my attention, there's some really good comments in the first video. So one of the comments, that somebody left, they were saying, they were telling me, they said that Junior was surrounded from behind so he could not run back up the stairs. There's video of people's phones from the 3rd floor showing 3 cars pull up behind, and there are 10 dudes all positioning themselves. There are 8 currently in custody. So they were kind of explaining why he couldn't go upstairs, and that's why he ran to the bodega. And I'll show you guys the video. Now, in even more updated news, Junior's mother did an interview today. Somebody sent me that link. And in that interview, she's stating that the person who caught Junior downstairs was a young boy named Jason. She's saying that Jason asked Junior to ask his mom for $5 to eat. And then, she allowed Junior to go downstairs. And when she didn't hear from him, she called him like, where you at? He said everything was cool. And then the next thing she knows, she went to sleep. And then, she ends up being woken up by somebody saying that Junior was stabbed. So I want you guys to go ahead and watch her video of her talking from her perspective on what happened to Junior. Check this out really quick.
When you were told that something had gone wrong with Junior?
I was sleeping already because I called him. That was 9:30. He went down to give the son of the kid that I know. Tell him, Junior, ask your mommy for $5. I'm hungry. I was in bed by 9:45. So my son say, oh, mommy, Jason need $5. And I say, oh my God. He say, okay, mommy, I go down and I give it to him. Say, really, you want to go see mommy? I go. Then he went down. So I called my son. Hey, it's taking too long. Junior, come. What happened? He say, no, mommy, I'm good. He answered the phone. He still was good. I'm on my way. I'm going. So I fall asleep by 10:30. And then Derek, that was my daughter's boyfriend. Then he wake up me. Oh, come. Somebody say Junior have stabbing. I run out to the street, but I wasn't thinking about he was stabbing so bad like that. I was hoping maybe some stab, but not like that. Oh my God, I don't even know. I can't even imagine it was that big.
And when he tried to go back into the bodega to get help,
I saw the video.
Was turned away, and when he finally was still even able to get to the hospital.
I saw the video. Nobody helped him, not even before and not even after. The video in the that I saw, he went inside the grocery store. The killer was following him. He got inside first. They haven't get inside. They could be preventing. They could close the door before the killer get inside, but nobody closed it. 3 of them, I saw the video, get inside, but they don't went with a weapon, showing nothing. Inside the grocery store, more people was working there. There was more. They could help him.
By the time you got downstairs to see your son, was he already at the hospital?
No, I haven't seen him. He was inside the emergency room when I went down. Yeah.
Well, we're saying a prayer for you. We're saying a prayer for Junior, and we hope that the community continues to support you through this very, very tough time.
We hope that you get justice for Junior, and that you find peace within yourself.
We are starting to get the justice. We're starting. They got all of them already catch. Almost like 9 or 8 of them. They're still looking for more. I hope we're gonna have it with God in the front.
Well, we appreciate you being with us and talking about your beloved son, and our hearts are with you.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you, and thank you for everybody who supported me. A lot of people like Carmelo.
Yeah, come on.
Lala, Caribe, Romeo, he called me.
Rihanna, I understand, also is a lot of celebrities.
A lot of celebrities, yeah.
They called you?
Yeah, they make me feel, oh my God, thank you so much, everyone. I'm sorry to not mention who I don't remember right now, but I want, thank you so much. All of you, everybody, everyone. Thank you.
And thank you to the Good Day New York community.
All right, so you guys just saw what Junior's mom had to say. So like I said, in one instance, they were saying that it was a girl that called Junior out for $5. The mother saying that it was a young boy that she knew, Jason. who's the one who called Junior out for $5. But again, she didn't talk to Jason. Junior was speaking to him. So do we really know if it was really Jason on the line or if Junior was just saying that? Because sometimes, when you got teenagers, they're not always honest about who's on the phone. It might have been a little girl, but he just said it was his homeboy Jason to get the money. You just never know. But that's what the mother is saying. So I would love to know who Jason is. Has he been questioned? And how convenient that Jason went to ask Junior for this money, and then there's a group of 10, Trinitarios downstairs. Was Jason involved in the gang? Did Jason have anything to do with the setup? So I just feel like there needs to be more information to come out. Now, the third and last video that's really disturbing is that now the story is being 100% changed and people are pissed, okay? So now this is what the, lamestream media is running with. They're trying to say that it's not behind a sex tape. They're saying that the Trinitarios who have been arrested, they're now telling the media that no, they weren't after him. It wasn't a revenge plot. They were just out looking for rivals. And when they seen Junior just started running, so they decided to chase him. This entire story sounds like bullshit. I want you guys to watch this updated news clip and what they're now trying to say happened. Check this out.
All right, you are looking right now at owners of the Bronx bodega where 15-year-old Junior Guzman Feliz was brutally murdered, speaking out and denying that they kicked the teenager out of their store right before he was murdered. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tamsin Fidel.
And I'm John Muller in for Corey. Owners of the Bronx bodega where 15-year-old Junior Guzman Feliz was brutally murdered, speaking out just moments ago, denying that they kicked the teenager out of their store right before he was murdered.
All right, well, one of the teens accused of killing Junior did appear in court this afternoon. Right alongside him in the courtroom, the victim's mother and father. It comes as we're learning about a sensational turn of events in the murder of the 15-year-old. Law enforcement sources telling Pix 11 tonight the brutal killing had nothing to do with a sex tape like we initially thought.
Yeah, this new information is upsetting many people in the Bronx community where the victim lived. Mary Murphy is here with the very latest. Mary.
Thanks, Johnny Tamsin. People connected to the gang are talking, and they're telling law enforcement investigators they were out cruising on June 20th looking for rivals. My source is claiming this was not about a sex tape. Also today, we found a video that showed some of the suspects rapping. The video features Jose Canalito Muniz in a starring role, the alleged Trinitarios gang member bragging that he has the mind of an Iraqi, while one rapper brandished a semi-automatic weapon and others tossed around cash. Police say Muniz is the guy who hacked Lisandro Guzman Feliz, known as Junior, with a machete. And he presented a much different persona in court Tuesday when he was formally charged with the teen's murder along with 7 others.
Strikes in the direction of the deceased torso and lower extremities with that.
15-year-old Junior was stabbed and struck with the machete outside a bodega on Bathgate Avenue on June 20th. He was buried this past Tuesday, and the New York City Police Foundation set up 2 scholarships in his name. Now, based on interviews done by law enforcement in the last week, including at least one cooperating witness, a new backstory is emerging about what happened before Junior fled to the bodega. Many in the community don't believe the new version of events, and they're upset about the story. The source told Pix 11 Junior was not killed over a sex tape. The source said of the suspects, quote, "These guys were driving around. They went out to find other Trinitarios from a rival crew called Sunset." The law enforcement source said of Junior, quote, "He sees 3 cars on the street. They're loaded with 9 or 10 other people. He starts to run. They start to chase. They made an assumption he was from Sunset." The source said Junior ran into a bodega that was not his original destination. The widely seen surveillance footage shows the teen jumping over the counter, trying to hide from his pursuers. The suspects then come in and drag Junior out by the hood. The teen desperately tries to stay inside the store, grabbing onto the front door. But the alleged gang members got him outside and began the attack with knives and a machete. Junior tried to stumble back inside, even asking for water, but he was shown the door. He made it to St. Barnabas Hospital nearby and died on the sidewalk. 2 police officers who were right there when Junior died are now being investigated for possibly not taking proper emergency action. And late this afternoon, the first murder suspect arrested in the case, Kevin Alvarez, was back in court. His lawyer said he will not testify before a grand jury. This new story we're telling you has exploded on social media, and many people are questioning the new version of events. They want to know if cops are trying to protect the girl on the sex tape, who is getting police protection, or if they're just trying to make the bodega owner not look so bad. Emotions running very high. John and Tamsin.
All right.
All right, so you guys just saw that news clip. So like I said, this, the story of Junior's death is getting very, very convoluted. It's so many different angles to this situation. But at the end of the day, the entire situation was uncalled for. I don't care if it was a sex tape revenge plot, if it was, oh, I see a kid and I think he's in a rival gang. No one deserves to lose their life in that manner. It was just so many unfortunate circumstances that happened throughout this situation, from him being attacked and drug outside, and him trying to run back in to get help. And then they're telling him to run to the hospital and maybe not realizing, everybody's not a medical doctor or nurse. They thought, they were looking at it like it's probably quicker for him to run down there a block away than to wait for the ambulance. And the ambulance comes 10 minutes later and this kid is dead. But, what they weren't realizing is that when somebody has gaping holes in their body, he had a gaping hole in his neck from being slashed. That was the wound that did him in. When you're losing blood like that, you're not supposed to run. You're supposed to put pressure on the wound. So because Junior was running, so what happened is that his poor heart was forced to pump faster. So that way it could replace the blood that he was losing, because as he was running, the blood was coming out his neck. And so that was not a good method to tell him to run to the hospital. But again, people don't know, especially when you're dealing with chaotic situations and you're just thinking, get to the hospital fast, not realizing that run to the hospital is probably what also helped to do him in a lot quicker, as opposed to them sitting him down in the store and applying pressure. That would have been a better option. That's why when you guys later saw him in the other videos where he's on the stoop, he's literally covered in blood. There's blood everywhere. That was from him running and his heart trying to pump more blood to his body, and all the blood that his heart is pumping is literally just leaking out his neck. So that boy died a very, very tragic death. As far as this new story, I'm not buying it, okay? I believe what the people of the Bronx have been stating from day one. And you have to think about it like this too. This girl that's involved in this whole sex tape situation, she's very not only sneaky, she's conniving. But I think that they're really changing up the story because they're trying to, I'm not going to say protect her. They're trying to keep her away from law enforcement, okay? Because if you think about it like this girl has seen a lot. There's nothing innocent about this girl. She's not like the typical innocent 15-year-old. She's having sex on camera. They're running trains on her. She knew enough to lie and blame this whole entire situation on a whole nother teenager because she knew what her family members were capable of. She knew her family members were capable of being crazy, being murderers. So, that's usually not your first thought. If you're being raised in a normal household and you get caught up doing some shit, your first thought is not to, put the blame on somebody else because you're scared that your own boyfriend might be killed. So I can only imagine what this young girl has seen in that household with those family members, especially being that, a lot of her family members are a part of this gang. I think the reason why they're trying to change the story and say, oh, it's just a simple, we saw a rival, we thought he was a rival, mistaken identity. They're trying to do that so that way, she can keep her police protection. They don't question her, because I think if they end up questioning this girl, she's going to sing like a canary to save her own ass, okay? If she was willing to set up an innocent young man and state that he was in a sex tape, which he was not, she's going to be willing to throw everybody under the bus. And I think that's what these gang leaders are afraid of, that she knows too much, she's seen too much, and that she will spill the damn tea on their entire organization and bring even more people down. And I think eventually, once the story kind of dies down, they'll probably deal with her. You know what I'm saying? Because this has brought so much heat to their gang. She'll probably be really dealt with, to be honest. The entire situation is just really disturbing. It's just so many twists and turns to this case. But I'm so not believing this new narrative whatsoever. Because if it was just as simple as that, then why was the father breaking down? Let me read to you guys what the girl's father said about the sex tape situation. So the girl's father's name is Javier, and people found him on Facebook. I had seen people attacking attacking him, going off on him, saying you raised the slut, this is your fault. So now he's speaking out. He's choosing to withhold his last name for safety precautions. But this is what the father is saying. The father of the girl in the sex tape that the police believe led to the gruesome murder of the Bronx teen Lisandro Jr. Guzman Feliz has apologized to the family of the victim. Javier, whose last name is being withheld by the New York Post because his underage daughter is involved in a sex crime investigation, said he is disgusted and angry by the whole ordeal. The father became aware of the video after news of mistaken identity exploded on social media and people began searching for answers. The police believe that the attack was carried out by the Trinitario gang members who confused Guzman with another teen. Prosecutors allege that the men were looking for a rival gang member who had been filmed having sex with one of the Tenitario's girlfriends on Snapchat. The girlfriend is believed to be Javier's 15-year-old daughter. The family has been receiving countless death threats, leaving Javier scared to go outside. Javier, 43, told the New York Post that he immediately recognized his daughter when his brother sent him the video on Facebook. The 17-second video shows a young man who looks like Guzman Feliz performing a rap while the girl is laying on the table engaged in sex in the background, according to the Post. She would have been 14 years old at the time it was recorded in August 2017. The video was shared illegally on Snapchat and other social media websites. I cried a lot. It's disgusting to see my daughter in a video like that, he said. I don't know what happened. Her mother doesn't raise them right. It's pathetic. Javier said he doesn't recognize any of the 8 men who have been arrested in connection to Guzman's murder. But there have been some reports that the girl in the video was related to the gang members. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm lost. My heart is broken. I'm shocked. I'm very emotional right now. Both Javier and his daughter have been receiving death threats on social media. Everybody on Facebook is saying it's my fault, but I didn't know anything. I haven't seen her. The threats have led Javier to deactivate his account. I have to be careful walking around. I'm scared. I'm worried. I need the safety for these children. The father says he has not been contacted by authorities and that his daughter is not the girl who has been provided police protection. The Post said that police sources did not confirm if Javier's daughter was under investigation. She and Guzman Feliz were reportedly both in the NYPD Explorers program for the youth, interested in careers in law enforcement. So you guys just heard me read what her father said. So to me, the news story makes absolutely no sense. Why would the father, who is scared to death, who had nothing to do with the situation, he hasn't seen his kids in a while because him and the mother have separated, so he's not, in their life on a consistent basis. Why would he risk his, his safety and have his face out there trying to get people to, disassociate him from this case if there wasn't some truth to it? Why would he come out? He's verifying that that was his daughter in the tape. I feel like this news story that's coming out is bullshit. I believe that those 8 men who were caught, they're being told to say this story about this whole rival gang thing to dead the situation with this little girl because the gang is scared that the little girl may run her mouth and then more people may be arrested. There's a lot of heat right now in the gang. So they're trying to diminish their responsibility as much as possible and put everything solely on the 8 people involved. They don't want what these 8 idiots did trickling down to the rest of the gang. And I believe that that's why this whole story is not being switched up by the lawyers of the gang members who've been arrested. So like I said, this case is getting more and more convoluted by the day. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. But at the end of the day, we cannot lose sight that a 15-year-old boy lost his life innocently. I don't care if it was behind the sex tape, if it was behind, this whole rival gang situation. This young boy lost his life for no other reason than being at the wrong place at the wrong time and trying to look out for a friend. Let me know what you guys think about this part 2, this updated situation, all these different stories coming out in the past 24 hours concerning the whole Justice for Junior situation. I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.